Trucking on. Brisk Friday morning here. See the log truck, it's down here. He's loading. He's pre-hauling logs right now. We'll see some of that action here in just a second. He's taking them from there and pre-hauling them up here to the road where he can sit on the other side of the gravel road. Sorry for the motion sickness there. But we'll go down here in just a minute. I've got zoomed in about all I can. Long ways down there. We're gonna take the forks and bucket back down there, even though I've got the bucket on the trailer, and we're gonna do a little sweep up. Which I, like an idiot yesterday, I put the bucket on the trailer on the pintle hitch. Why, I don't know. I do dumb things a lot. Trust me, I do. I come over here after I got done looking at timber yesterday, and I spent about 3 hours doing some cleanup on treetops, and I started to make a video, but just sometimes the videos, and it seems like anytime we do videos from inside the cab there, just looking out, those videos never really do too well, so they don't seem real popular, so I don't do a lot of those. Anyway, he'll get up here, we're gonna let that thing warm up, and the weather's supposed to get crazy. I mean, it is, and you know, yesterday I had the radio on in there listening to the weather. I've listened to some local stations out of Fort Scott and just a little north of here, closer to Kansas City. And I don't even think they know what the weather's going to do right now. It seems like every few hours it changes. See, today it was supposed to be pretty cold, and it was only 28 this morning. So it's not too bad. I'm just in a hoodie. So it's really, we don't have too bad of weather. Now this weekend, it's not supposed to get as cold as they originally thought, but we're supposed to get some snow tomorrow. Then Monday, I think most of next week, that's when the bitter cold stuff's supposed to get here. So today, when we get all the cleanup done, we'll go ahead and hook up to the pintle hitch, take the skid steer, take it over to the next job. We'll be ready to roll there because we're going to try to have that set of logs done and out in just a couple days next week. Now Monday, even if it's real cold, and if it's real cold, sometimes we don't even try to run equipment. We just don't. It's just how we do things here. I know people up north do it different, but that's how we do it here. I won't run, but I'll go ahead and I'll cut, and we'll get trees on the ground. That way, when it does warm up, we'll be ready to roll with them. So he's getting ready to come out now. It looks like I see him got off the loader, walking to the truck. I was thinking I'd get a call today about our truck and loader. I was having dreams last night. Crazy I was. I woke up one time. I was having dreams about the Mack truck and the new Serco. I dreamed they put it on wrong. I dreamed they put it on the tail mount instead of behind the cab mount, and it was more of a nightmare rather than a dream. Here he comes. He's got the hammer down. It's a couple soft spots there, so he's been trying to load kind of light and blast through those few soft spots. Got that old Caterpillar wound up. He might have a Cummins in that truck. I don't know. It might be new enough. It's probably a Cummins engine. Hammer down, hammer down. Oh, go, go, go. Grab a gear. Made it. It's amazing what these little deers will push. You can just get behind a row of logs and start going. It's just like a dozer. We're rolling logs out there. And normally I don't stay behind to do stuff like this, because usually we're already gone and out before they come to get them, which usually they're nipping on our heels when it comes to loading logs out. But I wanted to do a little more cleanup before I pulled out here. Jeremy's a pretty good dude here. He hauls a lot of logs for us. And it's cold. And I know sitting up there on that pedestal on that loader, it's real cold. the air. So it means a lot to him for me to help feed him logs. And to get them all piled up, that way he can sit in one place, not have to get in and out of the truck. It's teamwork from beginning to end with logging. I mean, it takes a joint effort from everybody to make everything work. Jeremy gets paid by the load when he hauls in, so he tries to run fast so he can get loads in. And the quicker he can get loaded and go, the better it is for him, the better it is for the mill. They get their logs in. The better it is for us. The logs are cleaned up and out of here. I can finish my cleanup. So we try to work in tandem the best we can. So basically that loader there that's on that truck, it's the new loader, same thing, same make and model that I have that's being put on the Mack. The only difference is our loader will be mounted right behind the cab, and the tank will be actually in the frame of that loader. The hydraulic reservoir tank will be right there in the frame. So I think that's one of the things that's taken a little longer, because I just had a few things I wanted a certain way, and that was one of them. So we're going to run a little different configuration than what most people run. We're not going to pull a pup trailer like what's on this truck. We're not wanting to get in the log trucking business by any means. We're just basically having something for our own use, where we can either pre-haul logs on a job, or we can haul logs back to one of our yards. It's just handy having a truck, and we've always had a log truck. And I'm to the point now where I wouldn't mind hauling a few more of our own logs and stuff like that, some of our lower grade logs that have to be hauled in to get them to market. He's hopping right along, so I better give these logs a push, see if we can get them up there. Tank. Got you, Jeremy. Go on. Come on, girl. Spool up, spool up. That's all she wants. The bed configuration on that truck, ours is going to be a little different as well. I've always kind of wanted like a style log bed like they run up in the Northeast, New England area, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I don't know if they've got a particular name for that. It seems like logistics setups are different in different parts of the country. And one thing I've learned over the last 7 or 8 years, especially working with the Timber Tracker app and doing things like that, is logging's different all over the country. It's the same, but it's different. I mean, you've got loggers going out and cutting trees, but the style of cutting, the tools they use to cut, whether it be dozers or skidders or feller bunchers, wheeled feller bunchers, track feller bunchers, harvesters, processors, knuckle booms, it's just different. Skylines even. I mean, it's different areas. There's different types of logging. That's just like for what we do, I think the kind of that Northeast style setup for the log bed will be better for us. And what that'll consist of, our center two bunks will be higher. They'll be a little taller, the stakes on the center two bunks there. Let's put the bucket on real quick. I'm gonna hit her hard and try to make it out that last round. be that deep, but we'll kind of smooth it out anyway. Then we'll watch him load up. We're going to sit in here in the warm, watch Jeremy finish up loading. Pretty good stack of logs there. I think there was right at 11,000 feet in this sail. There wasn't nothing spectacular in here. It was primarily just a set of lumber. And depending on the type of logs and what they are, it just kind of depends on where we go with them. We work with the same people pretty steadily. And a lot of it's just knowing the type of logs you have, what they are, where they need to go to kind of maximize the value. But this here is just it's a good set of lumber. I was up there talking to Jeremy on the boom just a minute ago. And, I'm kind of looking that Serco over when I was talking to him, and I'm kind of anxious to get ours. So I'm anxious to play around on it. I've never ran a loader with joystick controls. It seems like everything else, you know, like our skid steers, they've been joysticks. The last 3 or 4 skid steers I've had have all been ISO or joystick controls, pilot controls. There's a lot of different names for it. We've had some skidders that have had the pilot controls on the booms, like on the dual arch machines, pilot controls on that. There's definitely kind of a knack and an art to loading a truck. I've played around on ours quite a bit, loading logs and pre-hauling logs and tinkering around on our log yard, sorting logs, and just you kind of got to know. It's like a puzzle. I mean, those logs fit in there like pieces to a puzzle, and certain logs fit in certain places better than they do others. I know my windshield's dirty. Somebody will say something about that. He's kind of taking his time here on the loading. I'm not for sure what the total footage. They probably haul close to, I'd say anywhere from 4,500 to 5,000 feet is what they will haul on a regular 10-wheeler and pup load. That's just a guess, and that all depends on the size of the logs. Your size of the log has everything to do with what your footage is going to be on a load. You know, you got big logs, you're going to have more footage, even though you've got fewer pieces. If you got small logs, you're going to have a lot of pieces and not that much footage. Here in Missouri, about everybody runs what they call a log tag. That's what we're going to run on our Mac, as a log tag, and it just you kind of go off volume. I'm going to try to tell you the best I can about it for what I know, because I don't know that much. It really, we're not allowed to run on some roads like the interstates, I don't believe, loaded, and we're allowed to haul on a volume rather than like a cubic yard volume rather than a weight. So I think you can actually haul a little more than 80,000 legally with the log tag. I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong that knows about the Missouri log tags, but I think that's how it is. That's a Serco 8500 with a Extend-A-Boom, telescoping boom as it's called, but kind of the slang's the Extend-A-Boom. That's got a 1/3 cord Serco grapple, which is the same size grapple I'm putting on my Serco, or having them put on my Serco. And of course we'll have the Extend-A-Boom as well. Basically the same loader you see there is what's going on the Mac, just with a few different options and features. Those things are super strong, and I'd actually knocked around a couple different ideas on loaders. I've always really liked the Prentice loaders. I really wanted a 2124, but the Sercos, and I've got a good friend that I ask a lot of questions about loaders and stuff, because he's had that stuff, the cool fancy stuff, a lot longer than I have, and he's a whiz with it, and he's had a lot of those brands, and he kind of steered me away from the new Barcos, the new Barcos, the new Prentices, just because they're the EH controls, electric over hydraulic, like what's on the skid steers. And if you have problems when you're like right there, if something was to happen when your outriggers are down, you're loading logs, you're kind of stuck. That's where you are. and that's not something I wanted to happen to me. With Sercos, they're all manual hydraulic, so it's all direct, you know, just a stick to a valve. We just got unloaded over here on the job where we had the dozer. You can see how wet it still is right in here. This side of the creek is definitely the wet side over here. Of course, this little area right here, it's getting a lot of drainage from off this row crop field behind us. So these logs are bucked. I bucked these the other day after we drug them out with the dozer. And a lot of people have asked me about, you know, what do we do to the logs after we drag them out since they're so muddy? A couple different things. One thing we do is we take an axe, we do what we call barking them. Wherever we mark the logs, we'll take an axe, we'll cut all that bark and dirt off down to the actual wood of the tree before we buck them. Aside from that, I use Stihl RS36 full chisel. It's a really aggressive chisel chain. I like using it to either buck logs with, or if I'm cutting in river bottoms where the trees are a little dirty from flood. Because in our part of the world, when we have overflows or floods, the creek gets out of its bank, it washes a lot of dirt, sand, sediment into the bark of the trees, and it can make it tough cut, and you'll dull up your chain real fast. So the RS36, being a little more aggressive, it'll take a little more abuse, handle that a little better. The downside that it is aggressive, literally it will throw stuff at you. It will throw chips, chunks, bark, pieces, limbs. I mean, it is aggressive chain. A little harder to sharpen, I think, that full chisel is. Normally, if I'm cutting in upland conditions, I'll use just a round top chain. I kind of like it for boring walnut anyway. I can bore with the chisel, but it just seems like boring trees, it's a little easier with a round top chain. It doesn't want to kick out near as bad, not kick back, but kick out, kind of push you out of where you're cutting. So we're gonna go ahead and get a jump on these, get these all rode up. I was gonna park out there. I actually got stuck a minute ago. I had to pull myself out with a skid steer. I just put a chain on the front bumper of the truck. I had trouble getting in this area the other day. I tried backing in and couldn't quite get in there. Today I thought it might have dried a little bit, be different. No, it did not. It pulled me off over into a ditch there, and I mean sunk that whole left side of the truck. And luckily I was able to pull myself out with a skid steer back where I can get out of there, because sometimes getting stuck when you're just out here by yourself can be a nightmare. So we're out and ready to go, but I want to get these rode up. We'll get the tracks cleaned out on the skid steer before we leave. With the cold weather, we definitely don't need that problem next week when we get those sub-zero temperatures. Not a bad little layout. Some really good little logs in there. Nothing super big, but they are really clean. Just a good set of logs. I need to go through and trim them up a little bit. That's probably it for today. I just spent about 45 minutes trying to get the tracks cleaned out, so hopefully we won't be frozen down to the ground too bad next week. See if we can get this job wrapped up in about 2 days' time. Should be all we need. Guys, thank you so much for following our channel. It means the world to Dad and I. Hopefully wherever you are, you don't get under this real terrible cold weather like we're supposed to get, because we're not really looking forward to it either. But the one good thing, as long as it's cold and frozen, we can run pretty easy. But the skid steer, which we've had in the past, we've always had trouble with our skid steers in the cold weather, freezing down to the ground, getting stuck. There's just, you try to do everything you can to combat it, but I haven't found a real good solution yet. I've tried parking on brush, and I've tried getting the tracks cleaned out good, and cold weather's cold weather. It makes everything tough. Some mud in my trailer there. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna head into the day, go home, unhook the trailer, and I guess batten down for the cold weather. If it's not terrible tomorrow, which I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it's just supposed to snow tomorrow. If it's not terrible, I wouldn't mind coming over here and trying to get a bunch of these laid down on the ground, ready to go. I'd really like to, with the weather coming in next week, I'd really like to get this job wrapped up pretty quick. We've been here longer than I want to be here, but we've actually only worked on it 2 days just because of wet weather. But it's been a little over a week ago we started it, but we've had 2 days of work time so far, so not bad all things considered, but still we were hoping to be done and out of here by now. Guys, we'll see you later. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.